Oh yeah. And welcome to the second Hi everyone, welcome to second episode of podcast. Today I have Raima with me and we are going to discuss a very important topic, mentorship. So irrespective of whichever organization you are in or which job role you are into, this is definitely going to be relevant to all of you. So Raima, I'll start with you. How you're feeling to be here today?
I'm feeling great, thank you.
Okay, so since she's feeling good, let's start with the first question. Raima, as we know, like you have started your mentorship journey, you have become a mentor. So you definitely share feedbacks with your mentee, right? What do you feel? How should a feedback look like?
Nobody teaches you mentorship and feedbacks systems at schools or colleges, right? Whenever you become a mentor for the first time, it's a sheet is handed over to you, and you have to, rate someone on the basis of certain parameters, right? And suddenly, when you become a mentor, you're given a sheet full of responsibilities that you need to see if your mentee has, followed or filled up accordingly or not. And there is a rating system. I believe there should be pointers for regarding if the responsibilities were fulfilled, whatever problem the mentee faced, and everything should be taken into consideration. And feedback should be discussed with the person I, as a person, is giving to.
Right. And there is another perspective about feedbacks as well, that it is targeted to reduce mistakes of a person. So, do you believe in that?
So I believe feedback should be focused on a person's growth, overall growth, and just magnifying someone's mistakes or their faults throughout a year, maybe, or a quarter is not right. It's not the ultimate aim. So yes and no to your answer. To answer your question. Yeah.
Right. So also since you are being part of feedback discussions and you have been giving feedbacks, so sometimes it gets stretched because you are sharing your pointers with a person, listening to their views, and also coming to a common ground regarding some things. So how do you keep your feedbacks concrete?
It is very hard to keep feedbacks concrete, first of all. Like a person, you are given the responsibility of a person, and then while throughout the quarter or throughout the year, you are looking closely to what the person is doing. Say, for example, the person is analyzing a bit, like a bunch of documents. What is wrong in this analysis, or what is right in this analysis? Then the person is preparing, a table or a chart to summarize that. What is wrong in this? What is right in that? So there could be endless possibilities in which you can sum up a feedback. But I have a rule of thumb. This is the 3:1 rule used popularly. So there was a workshop where we were taught, a bunch of mentors were taught what to do, and there should be 3 points in the feedback where I should mention that the person is doing good, or maybe the basic strengths. 2 pointers where the person needs to improve, and along with that I should plug in that how the person is supposed to improve in order to stop the mistakes from happening. And 1 point which sets the person apart from the rest of the crowd. I think when if you look at the look from the bird's eye view, that one factor, that X factor will be a very good point for the person to stand out in the whole team.
Right.
And that is how your team shines.
Yeah, and that is also very important to boost the confidence of that person. Absolutely. Because when you hear good things about yourself, you will definitely try to work more harder.
Right, and end the discussions, like the feedback discussions, with a positive note. I believe that is also important. Ending discussions with a bitter note is not correct.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'll move to the second part of the discussion, which is also related to choosing your own team, because you might be a part of hiring and taking interviews. So how do you select your team when you go into such interviews?
I believe rainbows are the best examples to explain the whole team situation, right? So if I see that my team lacks a lighter shade of blue or a brighter shade of green, I'll go out and hire that, simply. So that the whole team starts complementing each other, and the culture also is a very fruitful, good one.
Right. You have chosen a very good example. I think everyone watching will relate to this and they will visualize what you just said. So, yeah. So, this brings me to the next point. Like, usually people try to hire the copies of themselves because they're easier to train, like, you can relate to them better. So, do you also believe in the same analogy, or do you think otherwise?
So there was a session taken by Madhav Kulkarni sir,
Yeah.
who is an esteemed personality in the intellectual property field, and I believe you were also a part
I was.
of that.
Mhm.
So he mentioned that we should not hire our exact copies, because if we do, eventually the whole team would be an average of our intellect.
Right.
So there is no point in that, right? We are looking towards a particular goal of growing.
Hmm.
And if I keep on hiring people like me, the growth would be stagnant,
Right, exactly.
right? Because it would be an average
Hmm.
of intellect. So I believe I should be able to hire people who curb my weaknesses or add up to my strengths.
Okay. So very important pointer for those who are hiring. Don't just hire your copies. Try to complement your team by hiring different type of people.
Right.
So thank you so much for that pointer. Like, this brings me to the last portion of the podcast. Like, whenever we join an organization, we are allocated a mentor, right? And we believe that that person is a know-it-all person. So, what are your thoughts on this?
A mentor is a know-it-all person? No, absolutely not. I think that is never a possibility that
Yeah.
somebody would. But then the pressure is always on mentors. You know,
Mhm.
whenever they are handed to a mentee, they feel like, okay, this person's whole career is on my hands.
Exactly.
Okay, I take one call and this person is out, and then they have to switch fields, they have to switch careers. And this pressure is always on the top of their head, especially the people who are just starting out.
Hmm.
Right? So I think mentors who are just starting out, for them, we need to calm a little bit and compose ourselves, because we can never be know-it-alls. There would be
Yeah.
things that would be our firsts. Like
Exactly.
handling a mentee for the first time is a very hectic task in general. So a mentor is never a know-it-all person. The mentor might have a lot of experience on some of the aspects and help and guide a person
Right.
they are assigned to. And the mentee similarly should not expect that the mentor has solutions for everything.
Exactly.
Right? They should also be able to, should also feel like I should reach out for other solutions as well. Right? So yeah, that sums it up.
Okay. So very great pointer shared by you. I also relate to the same thing that you said. So I think everyone watching this podcast, irrespective of whichever organization you're working in, you will find this relevant. So if you have any thoughts regarding what we discussed just now, do share your comments below.